Hey guys, I'm going to talk about some fun stuff today. Thought I'd talk about some movies and music. I'm going to start with Ghost. That's my new favorite obsession. The music is just incredible. And for those of you who've been following me a while, you may have seen some of my music playlist. And if you have, it goes all over the place. And I think that's why I like Ghost so much, is because Tobias, the creator and singer of that band, the mastermind behind it, is just incredible with his songwriting and taking multi-genre, taking 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, he's just taking all this stuff, metal, pop, uh, stuff that some people think is cheesy, and then other metal enthusiasts are like, hell yeah, he's taking all this stuff, not giving a damn, you can tell he's just taking everything he's ever probably been influenced by and incorporates it into Ghost. And I was not introduced to them until Satanized, which came out not too long ago, a month or so ago. And then of course, they just released, I believe it's pronounced Lacrima, and I was seeing a couple of people do reactions to that video, and they spoke of Lacrima meaning tear or tears in Latin, which makes total sense if you watch the video, listen to the song about not crying anymore over someone, like a very emotional type of song about a breakup, or getting over that and just moving on. I'm not crying over you anymore. But that song Lacrima, the production of the video, for one, is amazing, with the ghouls and his new mask, just the whole background of it. The atmosphere is just absolutely incredible. So not only do I like how Ghost incorporates all these genres together and their music is a call to the past a lot of the time, but it's also can be there's also a darkness to it. There's a darkness and he has a lot of occult themes in his music too, which I love. And now if I'd have heard a song like Satanized, say, a few years ago or something, I probably would have, I don't know how I would have felt about it, because there's been times in my life I've been caught up in Christianity, and I've been caught up in religious dogma and such. So now I'm not caught up in any kind of religious dogma, so my mind is very open to whatever. And I love dark themes like what he often sings about with the occult and the devil and things like that. I think a lot of that stuff's very interesting, stuff of a haunted nature as well. While there's a lot about me that is light, there are things about me dark as well. And really, that's in all of us, light and dark. But a lot of dark themes, a lot of haunted stuff, a lot of occult things do interest me. And Ghost captures so much of that brilliantly. Like the song Satanized, if you look at that song and watch the video, there's really a lot of parody in there. A parody of religious dogma and how this priest is just so tortured by his lust, tortured by being attracted to the opposite sex and wanting those interactions. And we all have that in us, where we feel attraction, we feel lust, we want these things at times. I've often said that anything can be taken overboard. We can get addicted to anything. We can get addicted to lust, we can get addicted to food, we can get addicted to substances, but the instinct is inside of us to want to be intimate and things of that nature with people. And I'm sure a lot of it too is also the procreation aspect that's ingrained in us. But anyway, I just think the band's brilliant. I went back and started looking through their catalog, and it's just, I mean, even a song like, they got this one, Secular Haze, from many years ago, and the video's brilliant to that too, because it looks like something they purposely made it look like it could have been filmed as this obscure film in the 60s or 70s, and it's got all this like circus music to it. It's some people I'd see comment on a video like that say it's kind of Scooby-Doo, like something you might hear in a Scooby-Doo film or something. But he goes from that to doing all the, I mean, or like Cerise. I really like that one too. The video for Cerise, if you haven't seen it, is so great, because it's like this little girl's almost seeming like she's being forced to go to this talent show at her school, and she's bored to tears. You can see it. She looks like she's probably 10 or 11 and going to this thing. Maybe she's a little older, but you see the typical stuff. The crowd's just, oh, they're so happy to see a girl hula hooping, and these typical things, cheesy things you would see at these little talent shows at a school. But what's so funny is then all of a sudden here comes Ghost, but it's a child version of children dressed up as Ghost playing the song Cerise, and it's so great because the kid playing Tobias, he's awesome, and they do such a great job. But the song itself has a lot of meaning too. About he's looking to the little girl, seeing that she's lost, saying, "You're lost, and I see the scars in your heart," and reaches out to her, and she feels this, and she's, instead of looking dead inside and being bored to tears as she seemed with life, she suddenly is coming alive. And then as they're playing, of course, most of the crowd is getting horrified, or some of them are getting possessed, or they're getting up like in jubilation, like they're possessed or something, which I take as being broken out of their social norms, being broken out of the mundane, awakening, opening their eyes that they don't have to be caught in any kind of religious dogma or being caught in any kind of social stereotype. You can be what you want. That's what I take a lot from that video. And then what's funny is there's this guy and maybe what looks like maybe his mother, and they're the only two that are totally bored with all the bull crap until the mini Ghost band comes on, and then they're totally thrilled. They're like, oh yeah, what is this? They're totally excited. So anyway, yeah, you know, I love music, and Ghost was one of those that really got me excited. I mean, I get excited about new music, but they have really, I have not been that excited about a band, I'd say, in years. I mean, if I could go see them live, I would. I haven't been to live shows in a while. I looked at some of their live clips. Effing amazing. Just amazing. They sound so good in their live clips too, and that's not always the case with every band. But another one that I saw that I really took to, now I'm not as excited about I mean all this guy's music, but there's this other guy under Napalm Records. It's some of you may know, called Wednesday 13, and I think he was in a band before called the Murder Dolls. And this guy reminds me of like a cross between Alice Cooper and Marilyn Manson. And I'm sure, you know, there's some other influences in there, but that's the two things I took away immediately from him. But he has this song out now, it's new, pretty new, called In Misery. And it's fantastic. I mean, again, his band, the way they're dressed, the music, the vibe, it's capturing kind of an 80s metal glam vibe, some goth mixed in there, I guess, and they're in a graveyard. They've got this woman that's reminds me like a cross between Elvira and Vampira, and she looks amazing in it. and the whole song is great. It's like a relationship song, but talking about how they're just in misery together, and I think that's a cool take on a relationship song too. It's a little different. So yeah, that one's great. And there's another one. It may be too dark for some of you. I mean, there's another one he does, "When the Devil Commands," and it's straight up just about the devil doing what he tells you, and you're going to do it again, and you're falling into sin, and you're just. But the thing with the song is too, I really see it as also. Again, just yelling back at conformity, yelling back at the status quo, saying, I'm not going to be what you want me to be. I'm not going to be just a social cliche. I'm not going to be part of social conformity. And this is how a lot of times I view stuff like that is freedom. It's freedom. It's not about evil. It's about freedom. And, being what you want to be, doing what you want to do on your terms. So yeah, so some of the music I've listened to lately, but I like all kinds of stuff. There's another one I added on my metal list called Sleep Theory, and I think it's really cool. They're from Memphis, and I lived in Memphis for many years. I would say they got a lot of influences I feel like there's influence of Linkin Park in them. There's that new metal. There's a lot of new metal in them, but the way they can change up singing with their lead singer able to do like these R&B like vocals at times, and then they have one of the other guys playing, and he's doing the metal screaming vocals, and then one of the other guys can also do clean vocals, and they're just the way they switch up their vocals between them all is pretty amazing. So yeah, some of the stuff I've been getting into lately. And as far as movies, I was just going to touch on some horror. I've been wanting to talk about horror movies, and maybe some of you are into horror movies. I had been just on YouTube. I got reminded again of Halloween, and Halloween, I had just seen some clips of it, and I have a playlist of haunt stuff, and I added a couple of the movies that people had uploaded, like Halloween 4 and 5, even though I have the movies, but I just put them on my playlist anyway, because sometimes I just like to turn something on, and that's easy to click on and say, okay. And if other people want to watch, or they're going through my playlist or whatever, and they want to watch, they can watch. But Halloween, like I've got it here actually. I've got the Blu-ray set. And this one has all the movies from 1 up through the 2 Rob Zombie movies. And I've got the other ones too, though. I've got the newer ones that they made, the other 3, Halloween, Halloween Kills, and I can't remember all 3 of them, but the newer ones that they did, I have those as well. But everybody, I guess, has different favorite franchises. My 2 favorite franchises are Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. But Halloween is one of those, I own every movie. Nightmare on Elm Street, the only one I don't have because I just can't really, it's almost unwatchable to me, is the remake. I've tried to get into that movie, and I just couldn't. But going back to Halloween, I think a lot of people have a problem with it because they can't wrap their head around the different timelines. But think about it like a Marvel movie. I'm not real big into Marvel, but Marvel normalized multiverse. And that's exactly how other movie franchises are. Once you can say, oh, it's a multiverse, Batman's a multiverse. I mean, you have different actors in that series, different timelines. James Bond in some way well, yeah, it's a multiverse. So yeah, if you can say, okay, they're multiverses, then you could just pick which ones you think um, are your favorite and go with that. Uh, so in Halloween, you've got the first one, and then say, okay, one timeline is 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. And then you could watch the producer's cut of 6, and that's a different timeline. It's almost, there's a lot of differences in the producer's cut of part 6. And if any of you know anything about Halloween, you know part 3 wasn't even part of Halloween. It was Season of the Witch, which was a completely different story. And a lot of people don't like that movie. I love Season of the Witch. I think it's become a classic, but in its time that it come out, it probably would have been better possibly if it had been called just Season of the Witch or something else. But John Carpenter wanted to go in an anthology way with Halloween, so that was tried. Though he didn't even direct that movie. There was I think his name's Tommy Lee Wallace. I could be wrong. I think directed Season of the Witch, and he actually even does the voice in it when you see the commercial in it with a dum 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 dum. I'm probably not doing that music cue right, but you know where the kids are supposed to be hypnotized by the Halloween theme in that they've got going on. Um, Tommy, or the director of that movie, does the voice in those commercials as well. But I thought Season of the Witch was great if you just understand it's a standalone movie. And it even does have a scene in it where the movie Halloween is on a TV. I think that's a cool little touch. But yeah, you can watch. So the another timeline is Halloween 1, 2, H2O, and Resurrection. Now, H2O, the Resurrection probably shouldn't have been made. Now, I actually find that movie very, very amusing, though. It's just funny. It just has so much funny crap in it. It's so stupid, but it's it's just funny in a way to watch. But the reason why, I mean, the plot of it's so convoluted because in H2O, Lori, she kills Michael. She takes an axe to his head, and that's it at the end. But in Resurrection, they say, oh, it wasn't Michael. It was the ambulance driver. And somehow he had the mask on, and he couldn't talk. And apparently his larynx was crushed or something. And Lori killed an innocent person, so Michael lives, you know. So it's kind of it's a convoluted story, but it's still very amusing. So you got that timeline, and then you have the Rob Zombie ones. Now the Rob Zombie ones, they are controversial, but the first one I really do like a lot. The first one I like because the backstory of Michael is you get an actual really more detailed look at how somebody could turn out the way Michael Myers did, from abuse and neglect and different things going on in the home. And I thought that was pretty cool. Michael was humongous. I mean, he was a monster-looking beast in that movie, and I mean, scary, very scary. So I thought there was a lot of good parts about, it was Rob Zombie's take on the movie. It's supposed to be different. Definitely a lot more graphic. The second one, I don't think it's bad, but I think you have to kind of look at that movie as like kind of an artsy type of film. Like, I don't know if that's exactly what he intended, but it has a very dreamy like feel to it. Do I think this is as good as the first one? No, but if you look at it as kind of like this type of art type film, I don't think it's that bad. But in particular, I prefer the first one that he did. as far as, and then you got the timeline of the new one. So you got Halloween, and then you go into the last three films. Uh, I thought the first one of those was pretty good. I thought it was really cool how they came up with a new timeline, a new story that could sequel off one. Though I do like Halloween 2 a lot. But still, this was a cool timeline. The second film I wasn't so fond of. I thought some of it was just dragging along. I haven't watched it in a while, but I remember 2 I wasn't as big on. And Halloween Kills was all right. But really, out of those three films, I would need to go back and watch the second and third one again, I think. But the first one in particular, I thought they did a really good job at creating a new timeline, sequeling off the first movie. And in that film, too, I thought it did a good job of showing how investigative people sometimes could take things too far. And of course, Michael ends up getting a hold of them, and you're almost like, hey, you don't feel much empathy for them because they were so hell bent on getting their story, and then look what happened to them. And there are people like that in the investigative world that they try to exploit things that sometimes they probably should not be totally exploiting. And in this situation, the worst possible thing happened. Now, Nightmare on Elm Street, the last movie they did, I was saying I don't own that one, but I do have, I have the Blu-ray set. And what's interesting about this one is this was a gift to me, and it is actually import. So it's the UK version, but all the movies play because of Blu-ray, so they don't have a restriction on them. So I kept it. The only drawback to it is a bonus DVD. There's a bonus DVD, and the DVD is regional, so it won't play. But I wasn't going to get rid of it for that because all the Blu-rays are fine. So Nightmare on Elm Street, the last one they made and tried to recreate it, there's just, the story was very flat. I felt like the characters were just so bland, and I'm not necessarily blaming any one actor because it seemed like they were all that way. It's the way it was written. Some of the dream sequences were cool, some of the visuals were cool, but that's all I could really take away from it. And that's not enough to keep me engaged to say, well, this is a movie I'll go back and want to watch again and again because the visuals are so good. Maybe if the story totally sucks, and I don't want much to do with it. And Jackie Haley, I think that's his name, Jackie Earl Haley, was cast as Freddy, and apparently he had Robert Englund's endorsement. And again, I won't totally blame the actor here. I think they added a mechanical voice to him, I believe. So they distorted his voice, didn't let him act really in his own voice. And in some ways, I do think it was written bad for him, but the charisma, he could not capture that charisma that Robert Englund has. Where, Michael Myers, it works easier. Friday the 13th, too, it works easier because you get an actor in a mask, and it's not as hard. It's not as hard to, you're not having to speak, you're not truly seen in ways. I mean, there's still some acting, but you're still not talking, you're not being seen as much. Where Robert Englund, he had a humor, and he had the charisma. And yeah, I mean, some of the Nightmare on Elm Street's got hokey in ways, but if they could still, if you're into them, then you're like, yeah, okay, it's fun. They're fun. Sometimes I like horror, and I like good horror, but also like fun horror. Cheesy horror. It's like I like a lot of my music cheesy, even though I like heavy shit too. I like metal and I like dark stuff as well. But I can get extremely cheesy and I can get into some stuff that's extremely heavy and then some stuff that's not. Same thing with movies. So, um, but that movie just fell flat. So flat that I didn't want it. But I have the other ones in this Blu-ray set. So, uh, but now Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the only timeline really shift is that reboot. Other than that, I take that back. You have Freddy's New Nightmare. There was a timeline shift there, and that movie was innovative because they bring in the original actors and act like they play themselves, the original actors from the movies, and Freddy comes into the real world. And I actually thought Robert Englund looked his best in Freddy's New Nightmare. They made him look very dark and sinister in that movie, and I think it's because Wes Craven really wanted to make it feel like he was in the real world. How it was supposed to be. Okay, he's going to terrorize these actors in real life. It's an innovative idea. But now you go back to the other movies. I think it's 1 through 6. First Nightmare on Elm Street, Johnny Depp's first movie. Interesting. He was Nancy's boyfriend. That movie, out of the first 6 movies, probably had the darkest tone. Freddy wasn't overly funny, though he did have that kind of sinister underlying humor to him. Part 2, a lot of people don't like Part 2. And I kind of get it because in some ways it's weak. You got this boy and his family move into Nancy's old house in Part 2. And it is kind of a weird story with Freddy kind of possessing him and having him commit murders and crime. Freddy's getting inside him and having him do it. But still, I think there's some great visuals in the movie. The opening visual is amazing, where he's having a dream. He's on the school bus. The school bus goes out in this dark-ass canyon, and I think that opening sequence is fantastic. There's other great visuals in that movie. There's some funny stuff where the kid's always screaming. I mean, some people might find it annoying. It's kind of funny in a way. He's always just screaming his head off, like some of the scream queens do in the movie. This guy, he's constantly screaming. And that famous scene where Freddy's peeling back his head to the kid and he's saying, "You got the body, I got the brain," and the kid screams. But I would say Dream Warriors is definitely a better movie. Part 3, Wes Craven came back for the third one. And of course you got the famous Dawkins song from that, Dream Warriors. And I think that movie's got a fantastic feel for it. I got that movie in my playlist, or that song in my playlist from that soundtrack. You have Part 4 in Tuesday Night, I think that's her name, does a great opening song to that one, Nightmare. That one's great too. So some great songs from the 80s too that were in those later Nightmare on Elm Streets. But then I think it's I can't remember. I think it's Part 6. Now it gets more ridiculous as it goes on. It gets more comical with Freddy just in his one-liners and stuff. Where I think it's in Part 6, and I put this clip on my haunt stuff. It's Freddy of Oz. It's a kid in this movie. I think it's in the opening sequence of this movie, and it's great, actually. It's funny, it's goofy, but the kid's in his house. The house is spinning like in the Wizard of Oz, and he looks out the window, and Freddy's on the broomstick, and he's like, "I'm gonna get your soul," or I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's like the Wizard of Oz. It's just so goofy and over the top, but it's funny. And then I think in that same movie, kid's having a dream and he's playing a video game and Freddy's playing the video game and the kid's stuck in the video game and Freddy's beating him up in the video game, and it's goofy as hell. But if you like fun goofy shit like that, then that's for you. I mean, if you don't like that sort of goofy crap, some people don't like the goofy horror like that, then you're not gonna like it. And then I got another one here. This one now came out around 2016. This was a Showtime series, and I really love this. Penny Dreadful. Uh, Love Eva Green too. Eva Green is so pretty, and many women I'd love to look like. I would love to look like Eva Green. Uh, Gorgeous, but this, if you've never watched Penny Dreadful, it's 3 seasons on Showtime. I wish it would have been longer. It could have been longer, I think. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil how it ends. It's actually really, really good, very complex. But what they do in Penny Dreadful, her character in it, Vanessa Ives, is being pursued by the devil, and Timothy Dalton is in it too. That played James Bond in 2 movies. He's great in this. I didn't like the 2 Bond movies he did, but he's good in this. He's really good in this. And you've got old monster lore. It takes place in 1800s, but you have old monster lore in this, like Frankenstein and the Wolfman intertwined in this whole thing. And you have a couple other different people that are in this, in the old monster lore, told in such a creative, different, vibrant way. And the story is just very complex. And if you like stuff more on the sexual side too, it's got that as well. I mean, it's got those types of scenes. It's got some romance in it, but it's got horror. Very complex storytelling, and I like stuff like that too. So yeah, check out Penny Dreadful. But yeah, I just thought I'd get on here, do something a little different this time. Talking about some music and talking about some movies that I like and stuff like that. So yeah, let me know, guys, if you like. What's your favorite horror franchise? Are you into Ghost? Have you listened to any cool music you think I might like? Or have you heard any of those Wednesday 13 songs? And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.